All right. Well, we are back, huh? We're back at the Stop and Chat with old returning guest Mikey Taylor is back on the show via the internet, man. How are you, bro?
What's up, guys? Doing good. Stoked to see you guys.
Looking good, man. Let me tell you, man, your background is impeccable. You're probably the first guest with the most extravagant background, man. Look at that. It's just two white walls, like nothing, and a frame on the ground. What is that? What do you got over there? You took the frame down off the wall to do the. What are you doing?
So no. We just moved rooms. My current or my office is now the kids' room, and now I moved my office into their old room, but there's nothing in it yet.
But wait, why are you moving rooms? Is one bigger than the other? The kids need more room, or what's going on over there?
No, for our house, we have a house that has an atrium. So you walk through the front door, and then you're in the middle, and then the house goes around it.
Yep.
And the kids were on the far end of the house, and my wife just felt uncomfortable sleeping at night like that.
Okay.
So we ended up moving them closer to us. So if they needed anything, they didn't have to walk through the dark house in the middle of the night.
I got you. It's funny. I'm very familiar with the atrium. I grew up in a house with an atrium.
Yeah, this is my first. It's kind of cool, right?
It's cool. You walk in and there's an atrium right there. I mean, you probably have sliding doors and you could chill inside the atrium and all that.
That's exactly right.
We might have the same floor plan. I mean,
I don't know if you had one of these. We're in one of the Eichler homes.
That's the home. No, I don't know. I have no idea.
Anyway.
Dude, hey, let me tell you something, man. You're looking good. Everything good?
I appreciate that. I don't feel that great. As we were talking before we went online, skateboarding used to be built-in fitness, man. You don't skate as much. It's like you turn into dad bod pretty quick.
And so what you were saying before the show, like your skating is not, you try to get out as much as you can, but you're not skating that much. You know, listen, you have like 10 businesses. You have.
Yeah, most
business dude over here, bro. He's on every podcast known to man. He's how many podcasts we do today, Mikey? How many?
This is my first one today.
Okay, good. We get an exclusive.
That's right.
But I think it's amazing, bro. You're doing your thing.
I'm doing my thing.
Yeah.
I'm doing my thing. But look, like anything, there's pros and cons to all of it, right? So the one con with what I do now is, the most of my time spent in a chair, and the body will fall apart that way. So I have to actually pay attention to like sweating. It's kind of annoying on that
sweat.
end.
You're like, what is this? What is this?
If you're not skating, do you do any other like physical activity, exercise to do?
It's all whack, but like we got a Peloton bike, so I'll do that thing, or I'll go on like runs, but it's so forced. It's like I don't like doing it. I'm just doing it because I want to be in shape.
Dude, I can see you on the Peloton just doing business as you're going.
Oh, yeah.
Bro. Like just AirPods in, just making deals.
He's not even listening to the instructor. He's closing.
You can't do that, dog, because when you're talking to people, you need to be able to breathe.
Yeah, that's true.
Like I'm huffing and puffing.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'll do like
close the deal. Close the deal. No,
I'll do audiobooks. I'll try and like learn something or do something while I'm writing.
Amazing.
Nice.
Listen, we're having fun. We definitely respect. Obviously, bro. I mean, I wish I was in the same position as you right now. You know what I mean? Switching rooms in my house.
I don't know, dude. You seem like you have a lot going on in a good direction right now.
Thank you.
Switch front crook shoves. You're on your board. You look comfy.
I appreciate
the show's
that.
Doing well. Come on, dog. Your afterlife looks nice, man.
No, it's true. And you know what? We should talk about that though. We should talk about life after skating, because I think you're at that point right now, right? I mean, you've kind of been there for a little bit as well. And when did that point in time come? And were you okay with it? Or did it take some adjustment? Or did, as a skater, it's hard.
Oh, it's brutal. What's funny is it started pretty much the last time I was on Nightclub.
Wait a minute. That was like 2 years ago. right?
No, that was like longer than that.
3 years ago.
3 years ago?
3.5 years ago. Yeah, 3.5 years ago.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. That was pretty much the start of it. Remember, I went on to 9 Club pretty much right when I got kicked off DC. Oh. It was, I think, right when I started walking again. I fresh off of crutches, right?
Didn't you have a hip thing?
Oh, yeah.
I had the hip thing.
Yeah.
Kelly had the hip.
Yeah, dude. Wow.
Yeah. Huh. So that was pretty much when it started. I just didn't totally know. I don't know if I fully accepted it then.
Gotcha.
Wasn't long after though that was it for me.
It finally set in, right?
Yeah, but no, dude, it was it was awful. Truthfully, it was the hardest thing I've ever done. You know, walking away from something that you don't want to walk away from, and then kind of having to find your new thing. And man, that wasn't easy, not at all.
But here's the thing, though, is you had things going on already. It wasn't like you just got dumped by DC and now you're just kind of like, oh my God, I have a family. What do I do? You already had, you had St. Archer, Villager. You had a lot of things going on. So maybe financially you weren't there, but the mental part of it, right, was like the hardest part.
Yeah. So basically, what I thought was if I had everything in order prior to my career ending, then the transition would be smooth.
Right.
What I didn't know is emotionally how tough it was going to be. And it sounds so weird saying that, but like, dude, when you're a skater, right, that's who we are. We identify as skater, right? Mm-hmm. Then when you become pro, all of a sudden I'm known as Mikey Taylor, the pro skateboarder. Everything I do, I'm a pro skateboarder, right? When that ended, it was the identity that was tough for me. Like, who am I? What am I supposed to do on this earth? What is my purpose? And when that went away, it didn't matter that I had the other things. I lost the happiness of it, you know?
Sure.
Wow. That was the tough part for me.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see that for sure. Because I think when we're all nearing the end, we know it's coming, right? It's not some secret. It's half and half, right, Raj? Some people, they
might blindside you.
They get blindsided, right? But you had a little bit of time and, you could adjust. But I know what you're saying about that identity, because I'm sure even when somebody says, what do you do? And you're like, I'm oh, wait, I'm not. Well, I am a skateboarder, but I don't do it anymore.
100%. And I will say this, my transition was probably as smooth as it possibly could have been.
Oh, man.
It's like my sponsors dropped me. I didn't have to figure out, I didn't have to call somebody and get a job the next day. I didn't go into survival in that sense, which I recognize huge blessing, right? With all of that, though, it was still brutal for me. So, for the guys who are blindsided by it, and I think it happens because even though we know it's going to end, we don't even want to think about that when we're 18, 19, 22, 23, because it sounds awful.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And a lot of times we don't want to prepare for the things that suck. We just, out of sight, out of mind.
Right.
And even though I wasn't in that position, it was still awful. So for the guys that are truly blindsided by it, my hats off to you. That sounds awful.
Totally. Yeah. And even when you were just saying, like, you kind of, the transition was that, like, you already had things going on, which is smart, because I think a lot of skaters don't, they're not prepared.
Dude, they're not. No, totally not.
There's two parts of it, right? There's being prepared, and I think we assume like financially is the being prepared, right? It's the purpose. Without purpose, it's hard to find any type of motivation throughout the day, right? It's hard to even know if what you're doing is the right thing. And prior to this, I was like, dude, my purpose is like, dude, I'm a skater. Like, this is what I do. I go film these video parts. My purpose is to create whatever.
Sure.
And then when that went away, it's like, I didn't even know where I was going, man. It's like up became down. And that was the tough part. It's like, what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do to feel joy? What am I supposed to do to even know I'm doing the right thing? You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm.
Well, listen, you're a skater. When did you start skating? 6 years old, 10 years old?
No, I was 12, late 12.
Okay.
12.
But still, that's most of your life.
To 12 to 35, I skated every single day of my life. And dude, Kelly knows. Kelly, you knew me since I was young. We skated a bunch, Chris. It's like, dude, I skated all the time. That's all I wanted to do. So it's like, when you're not able to do that anymore, it's like, what the hell am I? What guys? What am I supposed to do?
What are you supposed to do?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I was surprised you never really. I mean, you do own a skateboard brand, but I was surprised you never like worked in the industry. Like, you didn't want to ever do that, working for DC or stuff like that. Just over it.
This is at least what I thought, and I imagine a lot of pro skateboarders feel this way. We get so used to doing things our way, right? I want to film this trick. I'm going to call the filmer. I'm going to call the photographer. I'm going to plan everything out. I'm going to go do it. I want this song to my video part. Like everything about what we do is our vision. And then we have people come help us create it. Right. Mm-hmm. Once you experience that, it makes it hard to just go get in line and listen to what the person tells you and then go do. Right. It's like you go from visionary to employee. And I'm not saying anything negative about employee. It's just, I feel like skaters have this built-in like entrepreneurial side.
Totally.
So for me, it was like, okay, if I'm used to this and enjoy this, I don't think I'm going to adapt well working for a company, moving into corporate America, which is a completely different pace than what we're used to.
That makes sense.
Yeah, skaters. I think every skater never wants to have a 9 to 5. They don't want to sit at a desk. Like 100% no.
And they want to work at their pace.
Yeah.
That's what they want to do.
Yeah.
100%. I think like with skating too, it's like, you notice, man, like we don't just skate it, from 3 to 7 every day. It's like we wake up, we do our thing. There's a moment we're like, let's get it done. And then we chill and then we get sparked again. Mm-hmm. That kind of schedule does not work on a 9 to 5.
Right. Well, I think it's about that time, Like,
yeah.
I feel like doing some work.
Yeah. To that question too, Kelly, it's like, I was able to start my first business while I was still a pro skateboarder. And so there was this, I don't know if it was passion, but I really enjoyed it. Like I loved how business worked. I loved trying to take what you want to build and then finding people to help you build it. I just enjoyed that process. So I think I just felt like that was my natural evolution as opposed to, calling DC and saying, hey guys, can I, become part of the sales team or whatever.
Well, that's the thing too, is like you've done investments in certain brands and everything, but you've been hands-on.
Yeah.
You haven't been the guy.
Eventually. I started off hands off. I started off passive.
You did?
Things. Yeah. Like on the investing side, like,
I thought you were really hands-on with St. Archer, no?
St. Archer. Yes.
Okay.
Sorry. I was talking about more like on the real estate side. So St. Archer, I was active. I was a founder with Paul and Josh.
Right.
But my investing started almost 10 years before St. Archer. So on that side, I was investing in storage units and apartment buildings, but I was passive. I had no active role in it. So I started off passive. St. Archer was really the first active role.
And I'm sure you learned a lot.
Oh, yeah. Well, dude, you're thrown into it. Right?
Hops.
It's like how much did you guys learn when you did the podcast?
Oh my God, I'm still learning every day.
That's right.
Every day.
That's right.
That's right. You think you know everything, and then something else pops up, and you learn something.
That's right.
It's crazy. It's great. And then we're talking about podcast and YouTube. It's not like
And
then fun.
No, but it's like
go ahead. Sorry, no.
No, go ahead.
No, you please.
I was gonna say it's like even with skating, it's like we don't learn from watching skate videos. We learn from going out and trying it, right? And even for however long all of us skated for, was there ever a point where you felt like you had mastered it? No. The same thing works for anything you're going to do. And there's a podcast, build a business, you're going to learn from actually doing, and then you're going to constantly be learning. Right?
Oh, for sure.
The cool thing is like for skating, like I feel like we're so comfortable in that kind of routine of I'm never going to master it, but I'm going to constantly strive towards getting better. Mm-hmm. You apply that to anything, you're going to do great. I think just with skaters, we have a hard time finding the next thing that we're willing to put the effort into.
True.
Well, a lot of the times we're not looking. We're not looking for the next thing.
Well, Chris, you had a different approach to skateboarding than all other people. You were kind of just.
What do you mean?
He was passive.
No, Chris was just.
True.
I could tell that Chris was kind of like, oh yeah, I'll just do what I want to do today, because you had like a little routine.
I'll jump in the van.
Yeah.
And why I appreciated Mikey skating so much. I loved your skating just in general, but your work ethic was the first time I seen it with you and Paul's work ethic was so different. Like coming into it, I was like, these guys actually go like. they have plans to get filmers to go do their thing. Like I was just like, oh, I'm just out here skating. I don't even know what I'm doing.
Like if I get a trick, cool.
Yeah,
If the filmer's here, cool.
Because me and Chris were on the same schedule. I feel like we're just like la-ti-da, and you guys were like, oh no, we're gonna go out, we're gonna get clips, dude.
Right.
You know?
So you know what I think that's because for you and Chris, you guys are just naturally talented.
No, come on, dude.
No,
Kelly's not naturally talented.
No, but I saw you. The thing was, though, is that I saw you work so hard for the tricks, though.
It's because I grew up having to try to compete with Paul.
Yeah.
It's like if I didn't work my ass off, I had no shot here. You know?
And did you really feel like you were competing with Paul? I mean, he's your best friend, right? So yeah, maybe yeah.
You know what? I felt like my first competition or the person who I was friends with who I felt like I was competing with was Van. That was the first person.
Oh, okay.
And then from Van, because we were friends before we met Paul. Once we met Paul, it was like, yeah, we were competing with him, but he was so much better than us that we couldn't go toe to toe with him. It was more like, okay, if Paul got 3 tricks today, then I was going to get 3 tricks today. But as far as doing better tricks than him, that just wasn't an option. You know? Kelly, dude, how do you compete with that guy?
No, that's insane. Yeah, I tripped out on you guys. Yeah, watching Paul for the first time was kind of unreal, to be honest.
Yeah.
I still think it's unreal.
Yeah.
Just watching him in person, you're like, whoa, dude.
Yeah.
Wow.
Dude, it's even now, it's like, my skate involvement is Instagram now, right? I just see what the boys are doing.
Yep.
And it's like, I see him, I'm like, dude, how are you still this good?
Yeah.
And just having like a knee surgery too, and now he's like fully like pretty much back. Killing it.
It's really cool. It's really cool. So yeah, I mean, that's what I had to compete with. That's why I felt like I had to put the work in.
Sure.
Hey, but that's good though. That kept you on your toes probably to like keep working harder.
And just keeping up.
And you know what too? Out of my group, I was the worst one. Like, not even saying that for credit. Like out of the guys I grew up with, it was Van, it was Justin Case, it was Stuart Fod, it was Paul Rodriguez. It was like, these guys were just better than me. So being kind of the worst guy in the group, you're just always trying to be as good as your friends. And I think that brought a different speed of improvement out of me because I was the guy trying to keep up,
Yeah. There's always go ahead.
It's like, they say, don't be the smartest one in the room, right? Be the dumbest one in the room.
Exactly.
I was the dumbest one in the room. I was 17,
No, but there's always like 1 or 2 in the group that are just so good. And usually those 1 or 2 in the group don't even make it in skateboarding. They don't even care.
Because they're naturally so good. Yeah. And they're just like doing it because they don't care.
Yeah, it's insane.
It's a hobby.
But Paul had the work ethic and the talent to go forward,
Yeah, he had the work ethic like a NBA basketball player.
Yeah, exactly.
Like Michael Jordan,
Yeah, Paul wanted to be the best since the day I met him.
Right.
Since he was 14 years old, he wanted to be the best skateboarder on the planet.
And that's funny because we all want to be the best skateboarder on the planet, but we don't put in that work.
Well, dude, I don't know about you. That wasn't how I was.
Really?
No, I wanted to be the best for me. Like for me, it was always a battle against myself, right? Like, how do I learn more tricks? Blah, 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 blah. You'd see Paul and he was like, no, I'm going to be the best skateboarder ever. And he'd be skating with weights on his ankles. He'd try a trick, land a trick, and make himself do that trick 4,000 times a day. It was just, there was a different purpose behind him, right? It was like some Tiger Woods shit or some Jordan. You watched The Last Dance. It was the Last Dance shit,
Totally, dude. Yeah. He said that on when a stop and chat. He said that.
Yeah.
I was like, do you had that feeling when you're a kid? He's like, I wanted to be the best when I was a kid, dude. Yeah. That was it. Yeah. I was like, all right.
Dude, think back to 14.
Oh my God.
You know what I'm saying? 14 years old. Like, I was just trying to figure out how to I think frontside flip.
Yeah.
Totally. I never thought I wanted to be the best. I like the act of being out and doing it with friends,
I wanted to be the best, Mikey. Didn't happen.
Did you?
Yeah. No, I think listen, I had a nonchalant style to my skating, right? I had a nonchalant approach to it. I had all these things. But at the end of the day, like, you know, you always had those kind of like fantasies in your head. Like, oh, if I could do any trick, man, I'd be the best. Yeah. You know, like you had those like little fantasies, right? Yeah. And that's exactly what it was. It's a fantasy.
You got some tricks that were like, you could fantasize about it and you did it.
Yeah.
You know,
for sure.
Nose grind, I thought like that's like a trick you would fantasize about.
Yeah.
I feel like.
Yeah.
Look, you made a mark, man.
Thank
you did enough tricks to place yourself inside of skateboarding history. That's a huge accomplishment.
And you as well.
We all got a little bit of love.
We all got a little bit, yeah.
That's right. That's right.
That's right, man. Listen, you skated for some of the biggest companies in the world, bro. You know, let's not
for a long time too.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, that is one thing I'm incredibly thankful for. Like, and you remember, I mean, also you guys remember, it's like when we became pros, skateboarding was small. Like, to have a 7-year career was like, you did it, you know? And then it's like, I hit 10, I was like, holy crap, a decade. And then it was like 15. I'm like, you know, I couldn't have really asked for anything more because it went so much longer than I originally thought. I'm curious to know if you guys felt that same way.
Go ahead.
It's crazy. I skated for so long. This was probably as long as you did. But you were so much more higher on like the pro level of like getting paid. I never really got paid. So I was just happy to be there. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like I was going to ask you, did you feel like towards the end you were talking about of it coming for like getting let go of your sponsors? Did you feel that coming on in any way? Or was it just like, were you like worried about this moment? Like you said you weren't even want to you didn't want to think about it, but you didn't even feel it coming?
No. And this is why. So we start off skateboarding just because we love skateboarding, right?
Yeah.
And then you get sponsored and you become pro and it takes on a different thing, right? It becomes your career. And I'm not saying it's bad. It's just, you have to find a new love for it, right? Mm. There's a new type of pressure and schedule, and it can definitely eat away from just the enjoyment that we once had as kids, right? And I went through that cycle, you know, right around filming for the Alien video. It was like after DBS and before Alien, where like I just hated skating. I remember like, dude, I don't know if you remember, I was breaking boards left and right, throwing shits, right? And I had to find a new enjoyment in skateboarding. And for me, I started enjoying kind of the business side of skateboarding, right? Like I had my own shoe. I started getting involved in designing it. I tried to figure out how I could, you know, have more brand awareness that would lead towards more sales and kind of the whole inner working of selling product, right? Mm-hmm. I really liked that. And the reason I say that is because towards the end of my career, I was looking at going, okay, I have one of the best selling shoes on DC. Like, dude, my shoe was blowing doors.
Wow.
Right? It's like I was looking at like, dude, okay, I have this size following compared to other pros. Like my awareness and ability to at least sell product, I'm doing good. So I thought personally, I probably had another contract after my last one. Oh. And, you know, I was, I thought it might not be as large, but I didn't think that was going to be the end blow. Mm-hmm. So I was caught off guard in a sense of my contract was ended early. So that was a shocker. And then I was kind of expecting another 2-year contract after that. Right. And that didn't go according to plan. So on that side, I was blindsided in a sense.
Yeah. So you saw, you were basing, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, I was basing it off the business side of how much revenue I was generating to the sponsor sponsoring me, right? Yeah. And 2, dude, they let me go a year and a half before my contract ended. Oh. So I definitely thought I had the year and a half.
Yeah.
Plus 2 beyond that, you know?
Dude.
But see, sometimes I think that it's hard to gauge some of that because you could see what you're doing, right, in skateboarding. But skateboarding is such a funny business that you and me could be friends for 20 years and we don't talk about money. We don't talk about contracts. We don't do all that. So how you can gauge what you're doing, but you don't know what the next guy on DC is doing or the next guy. So how do you can't really compare.
You have no idea what the new brand manager is going to do when he gets hired by the company.
And that's true too.
Yeah.
Right. Different visions.
That's right. And look, and it's why I try not to complain about it. Right.
No.
We all try to gauge our future. And does it ever happen according to plan? Not really.
Yeah,
you know?
Right.
So, but yeah, truthfully, I had a little bit left and, you know, you could argue, was I looking at it too much from a business standpoint? Possibly. Like, is there a completely different element to skateboarding that shouldn't be focused on the business? Of course, I'll recognize that, but that's just how I was looking at it nonetheless.
Yeah, well, you found a new kind of passion, so to speak, by looking at these numbers and trying to, that's right.
That's what I started enjoying. And it's not like I didn't like skating. I just loved it. Was like, okay, now I have product. How do I get a bigger following? So more product. Well, I need to skate hard. I need to get these tricks out there. It was like the full circle of like, brand awareness, product to sell them, money in your pocket.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Sure. Yeah.
Damn.
So I just started enjoying that side of it.
And let me ask you a question. You were doing SOVRN, right? Are you still involved with SOVRN?
Yes and no. So basically, when I was with you guys last, career ends, was pretty involved in SOVRN from a day-to-day standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
But when I had the idea to start Commune, I knew how much time it was going to take. So I had to start basically alleviating my position at SOVRN so that the guys could cover it without me.
Right.
And so from basically the last 9 club interview, I think I spent probably the next 5 months setting up SOVRN with our team so that I could not be day to day.
Okay.
And then moved on to starting Commune.
Gotcha. And so we'll get into Commune. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
So to answer your question, I am involved, but not. I have a call with the guys. I don't know, once every other week.
Gotcha.
And it's for a pretty small amount of time. The thing runs on its own, and the guys running it truly deserve all of the credit for it.
Right. And my question is, you hear you have a board company and you're saying the career's kind of at an end. Well, DC was a big part of it too, but why not just keep your board in the line? Why not just kind of
milk it?
Yeah.
No, but he's done his shit, dude.
I'm not saying that he didn't do his shit, but why not just, hey, your board could probably still sell to this day.
I'll answer the question for you. So I had 3 boards in the line after I stopped skating.
Right.
And I am not saying this bragging. My board sold better than the other boards.
There you go.
Right.
Yeah.
But because our company was small and inside of skateboarding, dude, these companies just don't generate a lot of revenue. Right. We were using all of the royalties from my boards to be able to pay the other guys.
Right.
So, and truthfully, it wasn't enough to really support me the way I needed. So we just decided, okay, these things sell right now. That'll help the company, help the guys, but it wasn't enough for me to take.
Right.
I mean, think about it, right? We get $2 a board if we sell to retail. If you sell online, it's $11-12.
Sure.
And look, who's selling more than 500 boards a month?
Yeah.
3 guys.
True.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like at the end of the day, we're not talking about a ton of money. But for somebody like, when Alex was AM, when Nate was AM, it's like, dude, being able to give these guys $500 a month from your board company as an AM went a long way.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Man, it is tough out there for board companies, bro. I'm surprised people, not saying I'm surprised you started a board company, but it's tough.
I do, but I started it for a different reason. It all comes down to the why. Yeah. Right. I always wanted to have some involvement in skating. I wanted something to keep me a part of it. And so, having a board company, at least it's like, dude, I get to go on the trips when the guys do trips. I'll fly in for a day or 2, hang out and skate. It's like, being involved in the trends, and that was like keeping my community intact, right? Sure. Or at least me a part of it. So that was why it was for me. I didn't create it to try and make a ton of money off it. I wanted to just support itself, support the guys, keep me in tune. And that's it.
Right.
Anything above that is icing on the cake.
There you go. And that's a good, and that's a perfect reason why to start something.
I think
you're not chasing that. We're going to be the best, richest company. This is going to make me rich,
Yeah.
Build it and sell it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
So let's talk about Commune. No, wait. No, we're on skateboarding right now. Okay. I know you still skate. You still
look. We'll get that to Commune, but I got to tell you, man, it's enjoyable talking about skating, man. Like all the interviews I do now, they're not about skating anymore.
Well, that's why I joked about it before the show, because every time I look at your Instagram, you're on another podcast. I'm like, wow, this guy's really making the rounds.
It's almost every day, and it's usually all about.
It's amazing. I love it,
boys. It really is. And it's usually always about investing. And I love talking about investing, but I don't get to talk about skating that much anymore. So this is awesome right now.
Yeah.
No.
So we will get, because I want to know about Commune and all that stuff, and we'll tell the people what you're doing now and everything. But, and you said you skate, you do skate still. And so what's your board setup, dude? That's been a big thing on this show. Everybody wants to know what your madness is, what your board setup is, sizes.
Oh, I know Mikey has his madnesses too. I doubt you still have them though.
Dude, that is the best thing about the afterlife. The madness goes away. Guys, I've been skating the same pair of Van slip-ons for 6 months. There's holes in them.
Oh, shit.
I couldn't have done that back then.
Yeah.
So like there's that.
I remember you used to be so nuts on certain boards, dude. It would make me laugh. I remember you couldn't skate S's back then, and you got like a pair of Lakais. You're like, I can't skate S's now. I gotta skate these Lakais.
Okay, so let's do both. Let's do what your setup was in the heyday, when we're talking, and then let's do your setup now.
Okay, let's see.
And you pick your heyday, whatever, the most you were really, particular.
From 2005 to 2016, I rode the same shape.
Okay.
Damn.
There were moments where I got it a little wider. So I went from like 7.75 to 8 to 8 1/4, then back down.
Oh, wow.
So that happened, but it was always the same shape. And that was, let's see, Thunders, I think, was the whole ride.
Yeah.
Spitfires, I always rode 51.
Okay.
And Bones Swiss bearings. And then grip tape changed, man. I did the like Black Magic, and then it was like Mob, and that's pretty much where I'm at now, though. My board's 838, SOVRN board, Thunder trucks, 51 millimeter Spitfire, Bones bearings, Mob grip.
Wait a minute. So back in the day, you're talking about 2005 to, what did you say? 2005 to 2016, something like that?
2016, yeah.
Now, you were switching your board size around? You were saying,
yeah, because I mean, dude, it's like, think about the trends that change, right?
No, but still.
So you just made it wider. That was it?
This was the jam up. I became friends with Chris Cole. This is what screwed my whole shit up.
Oh no.
Right?
Okay.
This is what it was. So my obsession with boards and trucks and the whole dynamic was I never felt comfy on a skateboard. And so I always thought I was doing something wrong, that if I could just tweak it, all of the sudden I would be comfortable, right? Kind of like a Nyjah comfy, like you just stand on it and it just works.
It's like something magical.
Yeah.
So that never happened. But when I became friends with Chris, right, he's riding these big ass boards on super wide trucks, and he just looks like a Cadillac, right? It's just stable and smooth. And so I thought that was the hack. Okay, maybe my trucks have been too narrow this whole time. If I extend the trucks, maybe I'll feel comfy. And so I did that. And then I thought it worked for a couple weeks, and it just never did. I just don't think I was ever comfy on my board.
You were never comfy on your board?
No, I always felt out of control.
Really?
Yeah, always.
What about when you're coming up to a big ass long rail that you're going to crooked? Like, you can't feel out of control?
Well, no, you can. You could just, that was just like a mind hack, right? But no, seriously, like I think that's why I used to go through the shoe issues and the board issues, because there was this moment where I was like, okay, if I have a brand new board and I have brand new shoes, my feet are so grippy that it just felt like the board would stick to my feet better.
Right.
And then if my board got 3 days old, it felt like I'd ollie and my board would kind of do this a little bit.
Yeah.
And that I didn't like that feeling. So I was just always trying to basically what I think it feels like to be Grant Taylor is what I was always hoping to achieve by some type of setup hack.
Right.
And it just never happened.
And that sucks, man, because there's been instances where I think I'm fine. My board setup's great. And then I step on somebody else's board. Take, for instance, we were skating this ditch and I stepped on Costin's board. And it felt amazing. And I looked at it, I was taking notes, and I tried to replicate his setup just because it felt good. Not that I wanted to skate like Costin, but I thought there was a little correlation there.
I did the same thing with Malto. there was a point where I'd skate with Molto, I'd step on his board. It just felt like I was way better, and then tried to copy it, and it would never feel as good, right? I think we all go through our own crazy stuff.
Dude,
totally.
Sure, dude. I did the same thing.
It's tough. And that's why this is such a great question on the show, and people love it, because some pros don't care. And other pros are so hyper focused on their board, and it needs to be this certain way with these certain things. It's like, it's all over the place.
I think it comes down to personality, man.
Totally.
It's like, I used to get in these things with Wes, right? Wes Kramer. And I always go, Mikey, just feel it. Just feel it. I'm like, Wes, my head, I don't work that way, dude. I'm thinking about everything. Right. You know, so it's just, some people have that curse and other people don't.
So speaking of just feeling it, and you say you don't have it, what about like madness at a spot? Cracks? Do you have to do, you know, the littlest thing could throw you off, right? If there's a leaf right there, you have to like sweep the leaf away.
You're setting me up for this one. Huh?
No, because I'm that way. I can't skate anything with any little thing distracting me.
I mean, Kelly, you can testify to this one.
Yeah.
Dog. It was like, I needed every single crack taken out. No rocks. I needed people, basically, I couldn't have people walking by. Anything drove me crazy, dude. And I think it all came down to the comfortability. Yeah. I never felt comfortable. And because I didn't feel comfortable, it was like I was in my head about another thing, like a crack, making me feel even more uncomfortable.
Dude, I watched your DVS part the other day, and the intro is the most you on a session when you're trying to skate the out rail, like you're trying to pop with nose grind. It was it's so funny though. And then you land it and you're like, oh, all right.
That's right, dude.
It's crazy, bro.
So looking back at it now, do you think that if you could go back in time, could you change your mentality, or you think it would just be exactly the same?
No, it's how my brain works. Yeah. Truthfully, it's like I'm just wired to think this way. Yeah. And with skateboarding, that just was a little bit of a challenge. But like, it's funny with what I do now, it's actually a positive, right? It's like, you know, thinking about a lot of things and outcomes and how these things, that's a plus here. In skateboarding, it's just not.
No. Do you see yourself doing any sort of madness like that in what you're doing now? Like,
dude, it's like I'm a different person, dog.
In what way?
What do you mean? Yeah.
So with skateboarding, you're pretty much every single day I was tested, right? I would always get into some type of battle that brought me to the brink of losing it.
Yeah.
Right? It's hard to feel that in business. Like, yeah, you have moments where things aren't working, but dude, when things aren't working, it still doesn't feel as bad as jumping down a 12 stair for 4 hours while your friend's filming and your friend's shooting photos, all your boys on the sidelines going, dog, just give up already. You know what I'm saying? So, dude, I'm not brought to my knees the way I was when I was skating.
Or they say you got it. You're like, dude, shut up, dude.
Yeah. I got it.
Totally, man. Totally.
4 hours later.
Business that just doesn't happen like it does in skating. So like, I'm not tested that way, you know?
Yeah. Wow. Man.
That's interesting.
Business is like this, dude. You know, like you try a trick for 45 minutes and land it. You're like, damn, that worked out.
Right. Yeah.
That's what business feels like.
Not the 12 stair 4 hour.
Yeah, 45 minutes. Yeah.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. So you're looking around, people going, damn, that was brutal. You're like, really? You know, I've been in worse.
Oh man. But it seems like you're enjoying yourself, man. You love the business side of it, and you have this, you know, Commune Capital, right? That's what it's called? The first time I heard about this, you were renovating these like apartment buildings or something. It was like a massive undertaking. What was it like doing all that?
Different, I'd say. It's kind of like a hybrid between business and investing. It's actually, I enjoy it because of it, but you know, you have to build a business, which is challenging in itself, but the business operates by investing in projects. So it was like, it was new to me in that sense. Mm-hmm. Doing a project like our first project, there's just more people involved. There's more of a management overtaking that you just have to be on top of.
More moving parts, yeah.
more moving parts, but no, it's dude, I love what I'm doing now, but it's weird. I don't love it because, I love working on apartments or storage units, or that's not what it is, man. It's working with the people I'm working with that brings a type of accomplishment that I enjoy. It's like throughout the day, I feel accomplished and feel like I'm doing good for others. And I think that's why I enjoy it so much. It's not just the fact of like, oh yeah, we invest in real estate and we make people money, So,
and that's what I was going to ask you too, because this is basically people invest into this and then you guys invest into real estate, apartment building, whatever it is. More pressure, right? You're taking other people's money and investing and working on these projects. How do you psychologically deal with that?
I think starting with St. Archer, where we raised money. Yeah. So we took people's money to be able to start the company, and the type of risk that St. Archer was, real estate is a different type of risk.
Gotcha.
You're investing in an actual asset that is worth something. Regardless if you blow it, it's still worth something.
Right.
So there was a part of what I'm doing now that actually felt a lot more comfortable. Where, there's investing is always risk, right? Sure. There will always be risk, but the type of risk that we're taking was more comfortable than the type of risk we took with St. Archer.
It's more calculated.
It's more calculated, and it's the upside or the potential for a big gain isn't there like it is with St. Archer.
Gotcha.
But with St. Archer, there was definitely a possibility where we lost all your money.
So explain that though. Explain that. If somebody, and do you just, how do you, is it word of mouth that people are investing into this, or how do people get involved if they want to get involved? Are you just taking, if somebody DMs you, do you just, how does it work?
Okay. So how it started, right? It started me going out to my friends and relationships that I built and told them about an opportunity that we were going to be doing and raise money the old school way.
Sure.
Right. And then as people come in and, they start telling their friends about it, there is this kind of grassroots growth that happens amongst your investor group. With social media, the more I started talking about it, definitely people started hitting me up through DMs or emails. The challenge there, and this has definitely been the hardest part about what I'm doing, is we're regulated by the SEC. Having government regulate a company the way they do was new to me.
Okay.
And so the SEC puts requirements on who can invest and who can't.
Interesting.
Oh.
So and that being what?
So right now, you have to be an accredited investor to invest with us.
Okay.
An accredited investor means if you're single, you make over $200,000 a year. If you're married or a partner, you have to make $300,000 a year, or you have to have a net worth over $1 million, excluding your primary residence, right?
And this is to protect the person investing, obviously.
This is to protect the person investing. So the SEC looks at it and goes, okay, Mikey, you have a social media following. People look at you as influential. You know how to use marketing to make things look good. We don't want you taking advantage of people that don't understand how money's working, right? Oh. So they put requirements, and basically their view is if you make a certain amount of money and you are able to generate that, you should understand how money works. So you should know the risk that you're taking on, right?
And a person that just makes $60,000 a year and wants to invest $40,000 and really can't afford that they're being protected as well, right? It's like you can't.
They are, but there are requirements on how much you can invest to what your net worth is valued at, right? Gotcha. So basically they put the rule at 10%. So if you're worth $100,000, legally, they don't really want you putting in more than $10,000.
Gotcha.
Did I say $100,000? $10,000.
Yeah. Gotcha. Interesting.
So there's pros and cons to it, right? It's like, are there people out there that take advantage of people? Yes, I get that element of it. But guys, because people make a lot of money doesn't mean they know how money works. That was kind of an eye-opening experience for me. Like, these guys are making $2-3 million bucks a year and have no idea how money works.
Right.
And then I have friends that are making, $75,000 a year, and they're like on it, manage their own portfolio. Sure. They're diversified. They're doing their thing. So there is a balance to it. But with all that said, we've only been able to allow accredited investors up until this point. we are now working on a new opportunity because in 2017, with the Jobs Act, they created a new offering that allows you to bring on non-accredited investors.
Oh, okay.
And bring the minimum investment down. So our current minimum investment is pretty high. So now it comes down to where pretty much anyone can participate.
Oh.
And then you have regulations on how much people can invest so that you don't take advantage for them or bankrupt them, et cetera.
Sure. Yeah.
You know?
Oh, okay. That's interesting.
So to your first question, if I move it too quick, basically how it works, people invest into the fund.
Mm-hmm.
So all of the investors invest and own the fund together. The fund is valued based on all the assets that the fund owns.
Yep.
And so then it takes that capital, it goes out and buys, let's say, an apartment building.
Mm-hmm.
And then that apartment building basically has its gross income that comes in. You pay for your expenses, you pay your debt, and then the leftover money gets paid out to investors.
Right.
And then as the building appreciates, if there's a cash out refi or you sell, that distribution goes to investors as well.
Now, is this say I come in and I invest whatever? Let's just say $10,000, right? Is that $10,000 just going to that one asset, or is it a combined, like Commune owns this and owns this and owns this? Do I own a piece of everything, or is it just one?
So there's syndication and then there's fund.
Mm-hmm.
So a syndication, or what syndicators do, is they'll find a property, they'll create an LLC, and then they'll raise money just for that property.
Okay.
And that is all you're invested in.
Gotcha.
A fund is what we do. You own a piece of all of it. So you buy in at the share price that's valued on total assets.
Yep.
And then you have a share in all of them. So you see a return based on how they all perform. So it allows you to diversify and kind of eliminate some of the risk by not just having all your money in one project.
Yeah.
And I say that because different areas perform differently in real estate, right? You have your coastal markets like California. We see these crazy appreciations, right? Projects don't cash flow here. And so you can have a project here in California where you can participate in appreciation. And then you could have a project somewhere in the Midwest where it cash flows.
Oh.
And then whenever there's a correction, a market correction, different areas respond differently to correction. So you're able to, be more risk adverse and participate in different types of returns. So that's why we do a fund.
Okay. Wow. Interesting.
Does that make sense?
Totally. I love it, man. I'll send you my PDF after the show.
Damn, Mikey.
No, it's amazing. It's amazing, and it is amazing too that you give other people opportunities to, invest in stuff like that. But man, I like I said before, I started off the question with like, man, that's a lot. For me, that'd be a lot of pressure, dude.
Yeah,
but you know what you're doing, though. It seems like,
Well, there's a couple things to it, right? One, if you believe in what you're doing, then it eliminates some of the pressure.
Okay.
When you don't believe in it and it feels risky, I think that would probably bring more pressure to you, right? So there is an element of, I completely believe in it. The majority of my assets are in it. And when people invest with us, my money is in it as well. You're investing with me. I'm not just taking your money and putting it out to work.
Right.
Okay.
Like we won't see you on like American Greed later.
No.
I love that show. It's a great show.
No. And then the other component, and I think which eliminates a lot of the pressure, is my three partners. One of them was my mentor since I was 20 years old. And all of my initial real estate investing was through them.
Oh, wow.
And so the experience they have is, it's 30-year plus experience. So I've been able to, when creating this, had people behind me to cover some of that experience that took some pressure off me, gave more confidence in investors that this wasn't just a startup.
So is Commune your full-time gig? Is this what you are doing right now? You don't have anything else kind of going on the sides?
This consumes everything.
That's okay.
My side is being a dad and a husband.
Sure.
Speaking of kids, you just had a new kid.
Congratulations, bro.
We got a boy. We did it for the boys.
We got
Hey. Congrats, that's rad.
Yeah. Thank you. So, the things I have on the side would be just passive investments.
Sure.
So with Villager, passive investment, I gave my capital to Josh. Same way if you were an investor with me, you gave your money to me. You're not finding the buildings. You're not working on them. You're not managing anything.
Oh, I can't come and put a hard hat on and a little vest and like.
Look, if you wanted to, I've got places for you.
Okay.
That is 100% available.
Perfect.
But so for Villager, I am completely passive. When it comes to SOVRN, at this point, I'm pretty passive as well.
Okay.
And then all of my time is put into Commune.
Amazing.
Yeah.
What about OVNI?
OVNI. So OVNI is similar story to SOVRN. OVNI is Eric's kind of brainchild and passion. Like he loves doing it. And I'm pretty passive at this point as well.
Okay.
I'll be truthful with you guys. Commune, there's just so much to be done. I just don't have the time to do anything else at the stage we're at, you know?
You got to pick and choose your battles, man.
Yep.
You got to pick and choose your battles. And also, like with SOVRN, there's no investors. With OVNI, there's no investors. With Commune, we have, I think we're up to about 75 investors. So we're talking about responsibility. And to your point, right? If myself and my partners are going to be responsible for other people's money, which they work their ass off for it, right? I don't want to just be blowing my time doing you know what I'm saying? Like that's where I would start feeling pressure and uncomfortability.
And it's almost a bad look.
That's a terrible look. Are you kidding me? If people ever go, I gave up. What's going on over there? Does he even do anything? That's not a good look.
Does he even do anything?
Yeah. Not a good look.
Who, Kelly?
I mean, dude, balancing these podcasts, man, it's like I got an hour a day or my investors are going to start thinking I'm doing something else.
So, you know, well, we could talk later and everything, but like, would a company like the 9 Club be able to invest in a commune?
Yes, but if you invest as a company, all of the owners of the company have to be accredited as of right now.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
With the offering I was telling you about, that's something that we just started working on. So I'm hoping to have that offering up, I don't know, second quarter of next year. Okay. At that point, then 9 Club could be a part of it. Just Roger could be a part of it. Like you guys could just watch from the sidelines.
But like I was just saying though, if anybody's just hitting you up, what do you just send them a form to fill out and your bank routing number? Like it seems weird.
It's a pain in the ass, truthfully.
Yeah.
It's a big process. So for us, because we can only accept accredited investors, I'm just going to speak on them for right now.
Sure.
Right. Somebody reaches out to me and I'll usually set up a call so that they could do their due diligence, because honestly, they shouldn't just blindly give us money.
Of course.
So we'll run them through what we do, what we've done, how the experience has been so far with investors. Mm-hmm. From that point, we'll send them our PPM, which is basically the Bible of our, operation.
Right.
They'll get an operating agreement. They'll have to have a CPA or a third party sign off that they're accredited.
Mm-hmm.
And then once they sign an operating agreement, then their money gets routed into our escrow. And then basically we have opportunity. Money moves from escrow into the fund. Money is then deployed into opportunity. And then the clock starts ticking on the return that we need to get for our investors. Well,
because that's the thing is, if somebody invests today, they're not getting the return on what you guys have already put it down in the portfolio, right? All your assets.
Yes and no. So basically, we have what's called a preferred return. Uh-huh. So if you give me money, I need to give you a certain return before I get to participate with you. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah, keep going.
So myself and my managers, right? We need to make money as well. Mm-hmm. So in this, when we make money, we get a percentage of the money we make.
Right.
But we get it after the investor makes a certain percent. So right now we have an 8% preferred return.
Okay.
So you give me $100,000, right? I need to give you $8,000 every year I hold your money until I get to participate. And then everything over $8,000, then we have a split for.
Oh.
So the clock starts ticking the second I take your dollars. So if I don't give you 8% the first year, that accrues to the second year. If I don't do it the second year, moves over to the third. So the amount I have to give you just gets larger.
Yeah.
And look, we got to make money too, right? So that's what kind of puts us in a position of needing to get you a return, and how that works.
Is this what you talk about on the other podcast?
No, actually, I love that we're going more into the weeds. In the other podcast, they want to know more about like how I was a skateboarder and then basically got to financial freedom. It's more about the financial freedom, what that means, and how people achieve it. Yeah. But I did a podcast yesterday with 2 NFL players. Oh, and one of them, life after football, and the other one was in it. So it's funny, man, really similar conversation of like, what did you invest in? Talking about lifestyle, the whole nine.
Listen, as athletes, man, I mean, we hear about all the time. Football player, basketball player, millions and millions and millions of dollars contract, broke.
So, dude, the best thing is, right, they have me on these podcasts, right? And they think pro skateboarders make like football money. So like they're talking about it. I'm like,
pleasant surprise.
Like, dog, we're skaters. Like, this is a conversation I asked him yesterday. I'm like, what is the least amount of money you can make as a football player? And he goes, I don't know, minimum's like $500 grand a year. I'm like, $500 grand a year. There's like 4 skateboarders that get that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Hey, everyone else is below 100 grand. And he was like, damn, you guys are grinding. You know?
Yeah.
So it's a different type of thing. But one thing they struggle with that is similar to us is when it comes to investing, the sooner you start, the better. Right. And dude, kids don't want to hear about money. Like, dude, the amount of followers I lose because I talk about money is insane. Right? Kids just don't give a shit. Sure. But it's like they go through the same thing. It's like, how can we get the youth to, even if they don't care about money, put people in place that will actually set them up, because you're going to have such a big advantage if you start early. And it's the same thing with skaters, man. It's like new kids coming in, right? If we could take the new hot pro and be like, hey, dude, this is the window you have, right? Maximize that time, start planning for what life looks like after, so that when your transition happens, you're not punched in the face and trying to figure out how to get up.
Yeah. Mikey,
set yourself up for it.
When I got my first paycheck as a skateboarder, nobody told me. Nobody told me to save my money because I'm going to owe taxes at the end of the year. Nobody told me I was an independent contractor and that money is not taxed. Like nobody told me all this.
They don't teach that in school.
I know it.
But that's what I'm saying though. It's like, this is my first business course I'm taking right now. You know what I mean?
Look,
like,
truthfully, I do. Look, none of us had an example.
Yeah.
No, I'm with you, dude. None of us had an example. The only reason I did is because my dad basically was so scared about me being a pro skateboarder that he was like, you need to go talk to Randy and you need him to help you. Right. If it wasn't for Randy, dude, I'd be in the same boat. We weren't able to watch what happened to pros after skateboarding. Right. I remember like, it just felt like they just fell off in the abyss. We're like, what happened to this dude? And there was no social media. So like, we only saw example of a pro who was really good and then had a sick car. Yeah, but it's like we didn't hear about pros that like moved into the next thing and then like succeeded, unless it was like Deerdick or
Jason Lee.
Sheckler, where they went into like it's like there were a handful of guys,
Public
but
eye.
that didn't seem like that was an option for most of us. You know,
totally. I mean, listen, if I just got a little course in like, hey, this is save your money, save all your receipts, do your like, here's a CPA that we use. None of that. I didn't get any of that. And here I mean, what are you, like a 20-year-old kid? Like you don't know nothing about that.
That's
shit.
right. That's right. 100%. So, dude, this is like as far as how our business is investing, right? Yeah. That's how we all make money, but all of the content we create is all about education. It's basically everything that we didn't learn as skaters. That's what we're building, right? Like you talked about being self-employed, right? We're taxed through our face self-employed.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? We're like searching for write-offs that just don't do it. Yeah. So how do you put yourself from self-employed into business owner and then investor, where now we're actually keeping our money, right? We didn't have that. So it's like, that's all the content we're talking about, but you hit a certain point where you start paying attention, right? Like if I spoke to Chris Roberts when he was doing nollie nose grinds for Listen, are you giving a shit about deferring taxes? No.
Probably not. Yeah. No. I just want to save money. I just want to have money.
That's right. But Chris Roberts doing 9 Club and this new kind of brand he's created. Okay, how does this work?
Well, you go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, like, this is how it goes.
Well, you get to a certain age where you want to have, listen, we talk about like selling out in skateboarding all the time, like, a sellable monster, blah, blah, blah. Listen, man, this person's planning for their future, like this person needs to buy a house. Like, it's such a weird, like, stigma, where it's like, no, you can't have money.
Because skateboarding is treated by kids.
I mean, it's true.
Yeah.
That's right. I guess you're right.
That's right.
Fucking 15-year-olds on fucking stop motion board just talking shit.
I mean, that's true too. But it's just so weird, you know? It's like, man, like you reach a certain age where you're like, okay, I need to pay rent. I need to pay power. I need to pay I got stuff to do. Yeah. I got stuff to do. And if I don't pay it, I'm going to be living out here with the guys in the tents.
I hear you. And I think the hardest thing for me, right, is like we learned such good qualities being skateboarders that work very well for investing, right? Like, dude, we don't need much. We can live off nothing. We're disciplined. We're resilient. Like, dude, those are such good qualities when it comes to, I'm going to put this money to the side and I'm not going to go out and I'm just going to focus on skateboarding. But we just need the switch to happen where you're 19, 20, 21 going, oh, okay, I'm going to pay attention to this.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Yep. So this is what I think. You tell me if I'm wrong.
Go ahead.
Right? You start getting into your 30s and you're starting to pay attention to it. Maybe somebody at 25 will listen to what we're saying right now. But I don't think I'm ever going to be able to take the message I'm saying now and reach the 17-year-old. I need to reach the 25, 26. Right. And then the person who's 17, if this person starts doing it and talking about it, then they might be influenced by it. But I
think you're right. It makes sense.
No, it makes sense. But I also think that it's never too late, right? I mean, like,
no, it's not.
Let's get it, right?
It's never too late. And I think that the other thing is like, we have this idea that you have to be a millionaire and make a shitload of money to be financially free. Right. It's not the case. Right. It really comes down to discipline and consistency. That's all. Yeah. So that's why I think skaters could be so good at it, man. It's like, that's all it takes.
Man, it just bummed me out growing up skating, just the money side of it, because I always felt like the government was there to like keep you down. Like you make this money throughout the year and boom, they want it back. And then you start all the way over again at zero. And then you build, and then boom, they want it back. And then you're at zero again. Then you build year after year, you know? And I was always like, man, this sucks, man.
They built the system.
And I got to spend money to save money.
Yeah.
Okay, I got to buy a new TV, you know?
Okay, like, so I grew up thinking the same thing, right?
Right.
Did you feel like when you hear about people that like weren't paying any taxes, did you feel like they were scamming the system or they had some shady thing going on?
Yeah, no, I never thought that they were scamming anybody. I thought that it was like, oh god, that guy's gonna be kind of fucked. Okay, later, you know.
That's what I mean. Same thing,
okay,
right?
yeah.
So, and I think this could be interesting. It was interesting for me. When you start learning about the tax code, it changes your perspective on what you think the government is after when it comes to taxes, right? Like we think the government raises taxes because they want our income, right? They just want our money for the government to run. But when you look at the tax code, right, 95% of the tax code is built for incentives. Only 5% is built to actually raise income for them, right? And what they're trying to do is tell all of us, hey, we want your money invested here because that's going to increase our economy. They're trying to give you a roadmap on things that are going to improve the economy, right? And they give you incentives based on that. So if you start learning the tax code, you realize, oh, government wants me to put my money here. I'm going to put it here. Then they're going to give me incentive. And now all of a sudden I'm not paying taxes.
You're talking about like IRAs and Roth IRAs and different things like that, right?
IRAs and Roth IRAs are a little bit different. That's what's called tax deferral.
Bonds? So, what exactly are you talking about?
No, for example, let's use real estate for an example, right? The government wants you to invest into housing.
Okay.
They want investors to come in and build more homes for people to live in. And when you do that, they give you all these incentives. And for example, with real estate, right? We've all heard how you can depreciate real estate.
Yeah.
Right? Well, think about that. You're depreciating real estate, but real estate appreciates in value. So it's what's called a phantom expense, right? It's an expense that you're showing that you're not taking any money out of your pocket to pay for, right? So you can have a cash flow positive building, which means you have an investment that's paying you money every month, but you're showing a loss. So you're making money and not paying taxes on the money you're making.
Right.
So the government gives you write-offs inside of real estate that will make it so that you don't need to pay taxes. And they do that because they want you to invest into housing. Same thing applies for energy. There's all these components of investing that the government wants you to put dollars into.
Yeah, but my CPA is not telling me all this shit.
So that's another misunderstanding. CPAs are not tax strategists. They're two different things. CPAs are there just to file your taxes.
Right.
They're not there to go, Chris, all right, we're going to build out a strategy for you. and we're going to put all of your dollars in these investments because we're thinking post-dollar returns. That's not what they're there for. For anyone listening, right?
What the hell's my CPA doing? God damn it.
For anyone listening, right? If you're kind of intrigued by this, read the book Tax-Free Wealth. For me, it was like, what the hell did I just listen to? Because I thought a CPA was there to help me be tax efficient as well.
Exactly.
That's just not their job.
But so how does a normal just person that's living paycheck to paycheck and paying all these taxes, how is just a normal person supposed to accomplish this and invest in real estate and do all the stuff that you're talking about? It almost seems impossible.
Well, it isn't, right? If they don't know, then it's completely impossible.
Yeah. I'm busy skateboarding, bro. I can't look into all this stuff.
Well, that's what the problems with skateboarders are, is that we just forget about anything else going on in the world and we just do whatever we want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't worry. If we make money or don't make money, we don't care. Literally.
Yeah, because we just want to skate, right?
That's it. Yeah. Mike, this is very, I'm listening. I'm learning right now.
No, it is interesting.
Seriously.
It is.
Yeah.
You know what? And look, and I'll be the next, this is me the next thing I say. I don't love money. It's not like I'm just worshiping money. I just think it's interesting that we spend so much time making it and then we don't get to keep it and then we don't get to grow it.
Yeah.
Right?
That was my whole thing.
Yeah.
Throughout these years was like starting at zero every year after taxes.
That's right. Dude, my first year, and it wasn't that much money, but Kareem negotiated my S deal, right? I got $2,500 a month.
Yeah.
I'm big chillin', right?
Yeah. Big
I save my money. I'm living like, pretty modestly. End of the year comes, my entire savings wiped out, gone.
Yes.
I have zero money.
Yes.
Right? And that's when it was, what the hell is this? I don't like this. And then Randy came into my life and then it changed.
God, I wish I had a Randy in my life, man. Jesus, man. Because I said at the end of it, like Kelly, we were just like, we think that the CPA is there to help us save as much money as possible.
Yeah. You ready for this one? This one kind of sucks too.
God, okay.
Most financial advisors, and I say most, not all, are not there to build financial freedom for you as well.
What are they there for?
Truthfully, a lot of them are there just to sell you product.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
Right.
That's not all of them. They're like, for me, for example, Randy's a financial advisor. I was blessed to have somebody who actually built a business and knew how to generate wealth and also manage a private equity division, right? That side's rare. So those guys are out there. I guess with all that said, when you're putting people in charge of managing your money, you need to qualify the shit out of them and pay attention, right? It's like, we skated, so it didn't feel like we were working hard for money, but everybody else works their ass off for money, right?
Yeah.
And so we put in all that work and then we just blindly give our money to somebody and go, oh, you got this. You can't do that. You got to really interrogate these guys and educate yourself through the process. So they're doing a good job.
It's so interesting, man. It's really interesting.
It all comes down to, dog, is school I don't know why. And that would be more of I think the conspiracy side, but dude, school just doesn't tell us these things. They don't show us how to do this.
Isn't that weird?
It's super weird almost. Yeah.
I'll tell you.
Roger, I know you're into the conspiracy theories. And what's the newest one? What are they after us for, dog?
No clue at the moment.
No, but it's true, man. Why don't they teach me that in school? Why am I learning?
I don't want you to know that.
Why am I learning about fucking the 1800s? Like, I don't care about the 1800s.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean?
I do.
I
do.
You know what I'm saying?
I do. I didn't care back then. I care more now, but I totally hear what you're saying, 100%.
I'm just using that as an example. It's like, why not? Like, why not teach kids how to survive and, work towards financial freedom?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's the first time I've used that word on the podcast, financial freedom.
Look at us, dude. Look, man, we're defying odds here.
No, it's great. It's great. And I think, listen, man, I think what you're doing is great. I think you found your path. I think you found your calling, so to speak. But I think a lot of skaters, they need to hear stuff like this, man. It's not
You need to learn it.
They need to learn it, dude. And sitting here right now, I think I've learned a lot through the years, but there's so much more to learn. And man, I wish a 20-year-old me had these conversations with somebody, or somebody telling me, hey, this is what you kind of need to do.
You gonna go fire your CPA now?
No, don't fire your CPA. You just need a tax strategist. You just need another guy on your team, right?
Right. But to a normal person though, that's another cost. It's another sum I got to give money to, you know?
I totally agree. But if they're making you money, then that cost is worth it.
Yeah,
100%. But you know what I'm saying, though, the mindset.
Yeah, I totally get it, 100%.
So
what's interesting? Go ahead, Kelly.
I was gonna say, what advice would you give any skaters coming up right now for anything like? I mean, that's a crazy one, to be honest. This is a wild west these days in the skateboard world.
It's funny, man. You asked me that, and I actually go straight towards like, how do they make more money? Because you need to make money first, right? And I think that's the good thing about this time. It's like there's less control from a company standpoint on skaters. Like skaters definitely have the ability now to build their own brand, make their own money, and ultimately do this as long as they want. Where when we were kids, we didn't have that option, right? So, you know, there's that side. I would say from like the investment side, dude, something as simple as not bringing your lifestyle up as you make more money is going to be massive. Like it's so easy to do. We start making more money and all of a sudden we start spending more money,
of course.
Right?
Want the gold chain.
That's right. But what is incredibly hard to do is to bring that lifestyle down, right? Easy to go up, hard to bring down. So maintaining lifestyle is one thing. Two, it's like, dude, preparing for unexpected issues, right? Building an emergency fund, which is, I think, ideally covering 6 months of expenses, right? Something happened, you have enough cash to support you for 6 months for you to get back on your feet.
Right.
And at that point, it's like, dude, what do you invest in to bring income in every single month that you don't have to work at, right? And then just slowly build that to a point where it covers your lifestyle. It doesn't happen overnight. It's a shitload of work. It really is. But dude, you spend $5,000 a month over 15 years, all of a sudden you have $5,000 of passive income coming in. Dude, that's a massive blessing.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah, I think as skateboarders, when seeing it like, or even you just make a little bit of money, you just start spending that shit. Fast,
you spend, dude. You make money, you spend.
It's
money.
funny, the more money you make, you start to understand like, okay, I gotta chill. I mean, some people think that way. I don't know.
You don't know how many people have sat in this chair and cars and watches, like they just spend frivolously.
Yeah. And then I think another thing too, for the guys who are savers, right?
Yeah.
You can't just save either, right? You have to save the money so that you have cash to put into investments, but saving money, you're losing money, right? You can't even keep up with inflation at the rate, especially now. So it's like you have to get your money to work so that it's growing and bringing you in money. A lump sum of money does nothing for you because career is going to end. You're not going to change your lifestyle. You're going to start spending that money and it's going to be gone. And then once it's gone, then you're going to be forced to action, right? It's just how we are.
You need to send those soldiers out to war and have them bring back more.
Dude, that's right.
Here's a question. I just thought of this. It's interesting. Tony Hawk never answered it for me, but Tony Hawk, he sits down at lunch and he gets a $4 million check for his first big check for Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. He talked about it on our show. I asked him how much money he made. Yeah, he told me that. What does Tony Hawk do with that $4 million check? Does he take it to Bank of America and put it in the ATM? What does somebody do with a $4 million check? Do you know? Man. What does somebody do?
Well, truthfully, the only time I've received over $1 million check was done through a wire. It went straight into my account.
It's straight into your...
Okay. It went from one escrow into my bank account.
It's got to be St. Archer, right?
That was St. Archer. Yeah.
So you don't know what somebody does with a check like that. I'm so curious.
I never received $1 million check as a skateboarder.
Me neither.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah.
Shit.
Work on it.
So and then how our fund works? It's all routed. It's all wired.
When you brought the thing up about like saving money, because now I can make money now. I can save it, which I'm very happy to do. It's funny. I made no money skating, but after skateboarding is when it started to work out, which is great. But yeah, I don't know what to do with that money that I'm saving. That's where I'm like looking into things, but it's hard for me to make that first step.
You don't know.
I don't know what I'm doing.
It's tough.
But
so this is what I'm going to say because it hit me up after this so we could actually talk about it. But basically what it comes down to for anybody listening, and this can kind of be more of a broad stroke play at it, but you want to be out of debt, right? You don't want to be in debt. Cancel your debt. That's an automatic return. Build an emergency fund. So 6 months of expenses. If you can get to 12, great. And then everything you invest in after that point is based on your goals, right? You're going to have short-term goals and you're going to have long-term goals. If a short-term goal for you is I want to buy a house, Well, you're not going to put your money in long-term investments that you can't pull from.
Right.
And the money that you're going to have that you want accessible, you don't want to put that at great risk because you're going to be making a purchase soon.
Yeah.
If you have long-term goals where you're like, okay, I want to basically retire by the time I'm 55. I want a college fund for my kids, whatever it is. Then you start looking at, okay, what long-term investments can I invest in? If you want tax deferred, then you can go Roth IRA. You can have some in the stocks. You can have alternatives, which would be real estate, et cetera. But you have to have the goals set first. And so typically we don't pick our goals. We just say, what am I investing in?
Yeah.
And without your goals set, you don't even know what investments will lead you towards those goals.
Wow.
Kelly,
But you can hit me, dude. You can hit me up after. We can go through more.
That's awesome. Yeah, for
love
sure.
to, man.
Wow.
Kelly, you invest in the 9 Club, and
I
we
have.
could pay you
I've
your
been investing
check.
a lot of time.
Okay, boys, this is a big one. Boys, this is a big one. I'm going to hit you with this.
Go ahead.
The greatest return you will ever get is when you invest in yourself. So all of you guys should be looking at this going, 9 Club is what we're doing right now. It's where we're putting all of our energy. This is where I'm going to invest because it's going to produce the greatest return down the road. So do not abandon this at all.
No. We're not abandoning. Listen, as you know, I mean, listen, you started a podcast. And
Brutal.
that's the word it's brutal, dude. It is a grind. And I've seen so many podcasts come in skateboarding kind of start up and disappear, and we're stoked when they start up. You know, we're like, oh, fuck yeah, another pod. Like Commune Capital has a new podcast right now. Hope it doesn't go anywhere. Yeah. It's amazing.
Yeah. Only hope it goes up.
Yeah.
I hope it goes up.
But in reality, it's brutal work. It's grind. It's a grind, man.
It's brutal.
You know,
especially when we all have work that we're doing.
Yeah.
And the podcast is the thing we're doing on the side. It's hard.
It's tough, dude.
Yeah, my hat goes off to you guys.
Thank you, bro.
You guys do a phenomenal job.
Well, at the end of the day, it is fun. I think it's a passion, you know, and we've built this thing up so far. And also it's the following too. It's our community, you know, our community keeps us going as well, man, because we have such a strong, I hate the word fans, you know, but we have such a strong community behind us that it really keeps us going.
Yeah.
And I say
100%.
When you said like invest in yourselves, what I've seen Roger and Chris do with this is that they put the money that we've made from this back into the show and keep it going.
Yeah.
Since you've been here since the last time, you would trip on the way this place looks. So
I love it.
It's like this place is built out so
computers, screens, we have all kinds of
everything.
Look, guys, there's going to be people listening that are going to be freaked out by this, but I would have come and seen you guys in person, man. I would have loved to be there.
And you know what? Here's the thing, though, is we have this stop and chat show now, and that's what this is what we've always wanted, was to have people come back. And so the whole thing that we're going through right now created this stop and chat show. And so when we could have people come back in the studio, we'd love to have you back 4 or 5 times, dude. Come back anytime you want.
100%.
Yeah.
I love you guys. You guys are doing it.
I love you, man.
So great. Yeah.
I'm stoked because you are actually doing it, and you're just passionate, man. And you've always had a good attitude. You know, you've always just been, you know, smiley, happy, like ever since I've known you, man.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
We're going to say it's not true, but.
No. I wasn't gonna say it's not. No. I was just going to say I've been fortunate that with both things I've done, I felt like it was what I was supposed to be doing, which brought out just enjoyment.
Yeah, man. And you found another path, which is amazing.
That's sick.
Yeah, I'm thankful for it.
Do you think having a family, because you've been married how long?
We just celebrated our 10-year anniversary.
10 years. Do you think having, and how old is your oldest daughter, if you don't mind me asking?
She'll be 8 next month.
Okay. Do you think that having a family accelerated your passion and wanting to get into the business end of it? You see what I'm saying?
You know, I'd like to say yes, but it would be a lie. Truthfully,
no matter what, you would still be.
No, well, the hard part is like you tell yourself, like, I'm going to get into business, I'm going to make all this money, and I'm going to provide for my family, right? What that means is I'm going to go spend all of my time building a business and not spend time with my family, right?
And a lot of marriages and relationships end because of that. The husband or wife spends more time on the business.
That's totally right. So basically what I've learned is, yes, I have to have a business to provide for my family, but I do enjoy it as well. So there is a selfish element to it. but I need to pay as much attention to my wife and my kids as I do my business. And if I ever put more attention towards the business, my marriage and me as a father is challenged. And if I ever put too much attention towards them and not the business, then the business fails. So it's a balance between the two.
Totally.
Yeah. But I think being a husband and father are harder for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard work.
Listen,
we have no idea.
Yeah, I have a cat, and that's hard enough.
It's hard work.
Listen,
it's hard work.
I know that you have to run. You have other things to do. But I wanted to ask you, man, because I want to talk about skating one more time, dude. We haven't.
Please.
Old shoes, new board, old shoes.
Oh, this is a great question for him.
I know. Well, listen, not now, because I know you're running the Vans for 6 months, but
I can. No. This is when I was skating at my max. Same rule, right? Same rule. I can do old shoes with new boards all day long.
Old shoes, new board.
Yeah, I feel that.
All day long.
Gotcha.
I cannot do new shoes with an old board. Cannot happen.
What about new shoes, new board?
That can happen.
What would you rather? What would you prefer?
I would prefer, in an ideal situation, 3-day-old shoes with a brand new board.
3-day-old shoes skating in them, or just walking around in them, breaking them in a little bit?
3 days skating. This is how I had it, right? Boys. 3 days skating in them, right?
Yeah.
Would give me 4 perfect days after that, because my shoes would last a week.
Gotcha.
And I would have 3 new skateboards in that interim.
3 boards in a week.
Oh yeah, dude. Oh yeah. 12 skateboards a month, easy.
What?
Wow. Okay. I don't think I've ever listen, man. Listen, we are with product. We're spoiled skaters. We can get anything we want. So yeah, we should have the best stuff. I don't think I've ever done 3 boards in a week unless they broke or I focused them or something.
Oh, dude, I've done 3 boards in a day out of anger.
But was there a certain thing about the board that, like, if you didn't snap it or you didn't do a trick and it didn't work right, you were just over it? Was there something like that?
Well, there was 2 components of it. There was one, I didn't know how to control my emotions when I was younger. There was that part where I was aving these things or Carrie gets these things, right? Towards the end, once I started, keeping it at bay, I was just trying to find comfort, dog. That was it. It's like, how am I trying to jump down handrails and feeling shaky? So the new board would automatically give me comfort,
right,
or perceived comfort, which would turn into confidence.
No, it's absolutely true. New product. I mean,
it feels good.
It feels great. Yeah. You look down at your shoes, you look down at your board.
It's like driving a new car.
Yeah.
That's right. It's why I used to do all the betting. Remember how you do all the betting?
Oh, yeah.
The trick? Yeah.
Oh, that was fun.
It's just, I needed whatever it took to get myself to do the damn trick. If it had to be a new board, if it had to be, 3-day-old shoes always, if it had to be $100, it just get me to the trick.
Right.
I did that a lot too, and I would always say crazy things. I'd be like, if I don't land it right here,
we go mental though.
It's just like whatever. You say something nuts, all right? I owe you $400 if I don't land this, right?
Yeah.
You're like, all right, cool.
Well, because skateboarding is the most mental thing we could possibly do.
And none of you ever pay.
No.
Well, so
maybe Mikey did.
No, Kelly and I share that in common. We talk crazy shit and never pay up.
Yeah. Totally.
And
so Mikey, you may owe Kelly a lot of money right now.
I might. And you know what's funny? I get DMs, or I don't get them as much, but I used to get them. Hey, dude, for somebody that used to bet all the time, I don't know if it's safe that you're in the investment world, right? And I always have to tell them, like, no, look, I had a mental issue. I just had to do whatever it took to get my mind there. With investing, I'm actually super conservative. They're like, okay, we'll see.
I like that.
That's amazing.
Next meeting with your investors, man. I'd love to be a fly on the wall, bro.
Yeah, I would love for you to be.
No,
I would love to.
I just like it, man. I like it. I think there needs to be kind of more people like yourself in this kind of, just kind of educating skaters and talking about it, you know?
I think you've been the first one to really watch. Like, if I can think of, like, the first skateboarder I've seen go from being a pro skateboarder into this new thing and watching it and you giving advice for people like me and the younger kids. Who else has done that?
Not really, no. I
haven't
think of anybody.
Well, you know what? I think I was given an opportunity that my career ended at the time of social media, right? Mm-hmm. So remember, dude, we just didn't have this option when we were young.
It's true.
Right? So there was that. And then 2, it's like, dude, I recognize that I was in a unique situation that was different than probably the majority of my friends are going to go through.
Right.
So it's like coming from skating, it's like, dude, we're all about community. It's all about all of us together, right? When we go film tricks, if I just got a trick and no one else did, that was a fail, right? We all want to win. So it's like, when this thing happened for me, like I didn't want to be the only one on this side. It was isolating. Yeah. So it was like, I felt like I had an opportunity to like, maybe try to give back to the community that put me in this position to begin with. Mm-hmm. So that's more, I guess, just me having the opportunity to do it. And shit, man, I'm just hoping that I can say it loud enough to where a couple other guys will pick it up, and then they'll carry the torch to maybe the next 4. And then, 20 years from now, we don't even have this position. Maybe all skaters are good after their career ends.
Yeah. Well, I think it's different now. The way that the pros are looking at skateboarding, that we're trying to make money off these companies when skateboarders can make their own money off themselves. YouTube.
That's right.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, hey guys, I know it sounds weird, but start looking at different, dude. You know what I mean?
Well, there was such a weird stigma in the skateboarding industry about YouTube and doing stuff yourself, putting yourself out there a certain way. We didn't grow up in that era.
That's right. Hey guys,
I know you gotta go.
I do have to get to this dinner, but I want to tell you, I absolutely love you guys. Thank you for having me.
You're the best, dude.
Are you sure are you sure you're not ditching us for another podcast?
No, I'm not. I actually
dinner with Steve-O.
No, I have a dinner with my partners, and then we have kind of a business development meeting after.
Dude.
Otherwise, if it wasn't them, I promise you guys, I would be flaking for sure.
Dude, do your thing, dude. Hey, we're just stoked that you stopped by and chatted with us, man. It's so good to see you, and I'm so stoked you're doing well. And listen, I'd love to continue this conversation off camera and on camera. Come back on anytime you want, bro.
Guys, you guys let me know when. I'll be here anytime and 100%.
Mikey Taylor, everybody.
Thank you,
man. Mikey Taylor.
Boys, love you guys. Seriously, love you guys.
You're the best, bro.